Welcome to The Flock at FBC. This podcast is designed to highlight the incredible members and ministries of First Baptist Harrisburg. Our goal is to grow our church relationally and make known the many ways you can serve and get connected here at FBC. Whether you're a longtime member or just getting to know us, we're so glad you're here. Welcome to the fourth episode of The Flock. We're joined today by Rickey Butler. Rickey, how's it going today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good. Well, let's get right into it. Rickey, tell us about yourself, what you do for your job, stuff like that.
All right. Well, I work full-time for Warex Explosives. I'm a blaster for rock quarries. I run a storage site down at Cave and Rock and shoot rock quarries in southern Illinois and travel to Missouri a lot now. Have shot quarries in Kentucky and Tennessee, and that pretty much consumes all my work week, doing that. Traveling to different places, shooting shots at rock quarries, and tending that site.
I'm super curious about I don't really know how explosives work. I mean, there's the basics, right? But what do you have to do in order to safely detonate something from, I assume, a safe distance, and to make sure nothing blows up beforehand without people in the way?
Yeah. Most time now we use electronic detonators, and what we'll do is we'll have a shot drilled out. The drill's went in there and drilled a bunch of boreholes to the depth we want them, the size we want them. We'll go in there and we'll put a catch primer in there. It's a high explosive charge. Gets a blasting cap in it. The blasting cap is electronic. Has a little computer chip in it. They're super accurate. Got a little scanner like the thing at Walmart. You can scan the barcode on it and tell it exactly what you want it to do. So we'll put that in there. We'll fill the hole to the level we want it with the explosives, bulk explosives. And then we fill the top part of it back in with gravel. And then we hook them all together, a timing pattern that we want it to shoot on. And then we'll get the desired distance away. Long way. Got remote boxes, so I'll run a box out, and then I'll go a long way. And then everything's clear, sound a siren, shoot a shot, and it just boom, does what you want it to do. Most of the time, does what you want it to do.
I've seen some of these videos, and it's crazy. Like the amount of stuff that gets blown up, and all just from the little switch that. I don't know. It blows my mind every time you send me those videos.
Yeah, there's a lot goes into it. They've made it really safe over the years. There's still a danger in it. Anytime you're putting explosives in the ground, shooting rock, there's going to be danger in it. But the products are really safe.
Have you ever had an explosion and you were like, maybe I should have been a little further away from that?
Yeah, absolutely. That happens sometimes. Distance is your friend, but sometimes it's not far enough. I've had rock fly past me. I've had rock hit stuff around me. I've got under stuff to avoid being hit by rock. I've done it for 25 years, and any blaster you talk to is going to tell you that they've had stuff go wrong in any amount of time, especially 25 years. You're going to have stuff not go right. So we try to stay safe as we can.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack. We kind of talked a little about your career. I'm sure we'll get more into it later. But where'd you grow up? Are you from here in Harrisburg?
Yeah, Harrisburg, born and raised in Harrisburg. Been here my whole life. Lived south of town out by Rudiment. Mom and Dad built a house down there when they got married and lived right there. And then we moved a half mile to my grandparents' house when Mom and Dad bought it and moved into it. And me and Tasha, we bought a couple acres right in between Mom and Dad's old house and grandparents' house. So after we got married there, we put a trailer on it. A few years later, built a house on it, and I've lived within a mile of the same area my whole life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm kind of in that same boat of like right now I'm not living there, but my parents offered for us to build right next to their house. So if I build there, I'm pretty much spending all of my life besides college, right there on Walnut Grove.
There you go.
Which I don't think there's anything wrong with.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So what did church life like you said, we kind of jumped through high school there. What did church life look for you when you were growing up? Did you guys go to church?
I did. I was just a few days old when Mom got out of the hospital, me and took me to Spring Valley. That's where they went. They'd always went to Spring Valley. They was active members of Spring Valley Social Brethren Church. My grandparents went there. My mom and dad went there, were active members. And I went there my whole life up until several years ago when we decided to move up here. And we did, Bible schools and youth stuff and Sunday night, Sunday morning, Wednesday nights. And then it just, as time went on, the small country churches just get smaller and smaller and smaller. And it just got to where there wasn't hardly enough to keep the doors open. And we had Keith and Marie Lands are our neighbors. And we had talked to them several times about coming up here and visiting, and they encouraged us quite a bit and said, "You'll really like it." We come up here one Sunday and visited, and then we never left. And we've been coming ever since.
And that's super encouraging to hear that, like, our members are out there kind of on the front lines a little bit, like being hands and feet to Jesus, and kind of, like you would say, it made a bit of a difference in the past. That's how many years have you been at our church?
Man, I want to think like 2018 or so, 17 or 18, in that area. I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, it's been a little bit now.
Yeah, it's such a good testament and encouraging, like to think like I want to be inviting more people like to our church, because it's something that I cherish. Like when you really love something and enjoy it, you tell others about it naturally. And so like, I mean, I want that to be like what the Lands did for you guys of encouraging you to come up here. I want that to be like something I do and that we do as a church, which I'm sure many people are.
Oh yeah, we'll always talk. We have a lot of people ask us about it, and friends of ours that are still in small country churches. It's just hard to keep the doors open, and as much as they hate to leave, they're looking for a place that they can go. And we'll always tell them, we'll suggest here right off the bat, you'll love it, absolutely love it. There's something here for everybody. If you're interested, the preaching is top notch. The Sunday school classes are top notch. There's so much to do between the youth and the disaster relief and all the programs we have. There's something here that anybody could fit into.
All right. So you said you grew up here. You went through high school here, right? What did you decide to do after high school?
I went to SIC and for 2 years got my associate's degree. And then just that's when I started in the blasting industry. I really wasn't looking to do it. I had a buddy that worked for the same company that I'm working for now, and he called and said they was looking for help. Went out there and interviewed, took the job, and then it just went from there. It went from working for Warex in 2001 to getting hired full-time through the coal mine, and then ended up back at Warex a long time down the road. And then that kind of went away from the surface coal mines into the rock quarries, and the rock quarries are really nice. It's a little different game than surface coal. It's a lot more traveling, because you're not reporting to the same surface coal mine every day. But the traveling's the worst part of it, probably. But traveling around and seeing different places is neat too. So
you've been there for the past how many years?
I think I went back to Warex in 2016.
Okay.
So about going on 10 years.
Okay. So you've had like the same career since you really
same career between drilling and blasting and running other equipment from the get-go. It's just a matter of where I did it and who I did it with, but it's just pretty much the same career again.
How far do you have to travel? Like, what's the furthest you got to travel?
The farthest I travel is usually around 4 hours, 4.5 sometimes.
Yeah.
I've been I've drove a powder truck from Cave and Rock to almost the Alabama line.
That is rough.
Yeah, it is.
You're coming back that night, right?
Yeah, you got to get there and get back within 14 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't drive a powder truck very much anymore, but I drive a pickup truck a lot of places I go. But 3.5, 4 hours ain't out of the norm. And the worst part is they want you there early, so you got a 4-hour drive and you be there at 6 in the morning. Yeah.
So you said you went to church, like really your whole life. When did you come to know Jesus? Was it kind of later in life, earlier in your youth?
I think I was around 12. I was late elementary school. It was at a church camp, Social Brethren church camp. We had church camp every summer down there at Delwood. I don't know if you've ever been past there, but you can still see it sitting there on the side of the road. And it was an altar call one night during the church service down there. come to know Jesus then, and changed my life. Been a struggle. You know how it is. There's a lot of stuff in there that probably didn't seem to be something a Christian would do, but there's a feeling in there, and it's good to know that He saves us, and as sinful as we are, He's still willing to forgive us. And
yeah, and that's a perfect story about like what we talk about a lot here. This upward trajectory in our lives that might not always be straight up. There might be some ups and downs in that trajectory, but like this ultimately growing closer with Jesus as our life progresses. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs in there. It's definitely not a straight trajectory, but yeah, going closer to Him every day is. Maybe I'm older now, and a little wiser now, but growing closer to Him every day and trying to being born in His image every day.
So I hate to keep going back to this travel, but what are you listening to on the car ride in a 4-hour drive?
Whatever comes in. I'll drive out of radio station range. It's like I can start on one radio station and then it goes out and I'll flip it to the next one. I listen everything from country, old country. Every now and again you'll run across a K-Love station or something. I like the message in the songs. I don't care much for the songs. It's not my style. Rock. Talk radio every now and again. It's just about everything you can imagine.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had a favorite out of those.
Yeah, 80s and 90s country is my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good era.
So we kind of talked about like what you've done for your career, but like I know firsthand that you cut down trees also for like a little bit of a side hustle. Like so, like what else are you interested in besides what you do at work? Tell some of your hobbies, interests.
Yeah, we started the tree business on the side. It's a lot of work, but I had a lot of people wanting me to start it, and we talked about it and prayed about it, and we finally put the stuff together and did start it, and that keeps us really super busy. So you work all week, and then you cut trees on the weekend.
When did you start doing that?
We started last March. It would have been March of 24, I guess. And we stayed busy all last year doing that. And my crew, Tasha and Abby are my crew. and we had a lot of days we thought we was going to die, but we was alive at the end of it. It's something I would like to grow. I'm a little late in the game for it to ever be something I could probably do full time, but I would like to establish it where Abby could maybe pick up on that if she wanted to. Take it even maybe a step farther, like really turn it into a legit arborist thing. And we'll see if she shows interest in that, and we'll work toward that. Right now, it's just a side gig. Like my tree cutting, like my chainsaws. I like hunting and fishing. I don't get to do it as much as I used to. Still try to deer hunt every year, fish when I can.
All right, well, I'll stop you right there. What's your big fish story and your biggest deer you've killed?
The biggest fish, like other than a catfish, I've got some big catfish in farm ponds and stuff. The biggest bass I ever caught was in a farm pond, and it's actually on the wall. And it's probably not big in this big scheme of bass, but it was big for me because I don't catch big bass. And it's like 5 or 6 pounds.
Oh, that's big.
And it's in like this little mud hole of a farm pond they was fixing to drain, and caught it. And I just assumed I had, snagged a stick or a log, and then it started swimming. And I was like, well, we got it in, and it's a pretty nice fish. Did you ask how big deer?
Yeah.
Big deer. The biggest deer I killed was 2 years ago, I think. And by far the biggest deer I killed. It was a big 8-pointer. It was like 24-inch inside spread.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's by far the biggest deer I've ever killed.
We'll have to see if you can get us a picture to throw up in this.
Yeah, I can get you a picture. My advice on deer hunting is be in the deer stand between 10 and 2. Stay in the deer stand between 10 and 2.
Man, you're a brave man. I'm a deer stand from like 5 to 9, and then 2 o'clock to 5.
Yeah, 10 to 2 is breakfast for me.
10 to 2, I got a wall full of reasons to be in a stand between 10 and 2.
Yeah,
every one of them.
Tougher than I am.
Really
sure.
That's when the big ones move, huh?
when they move.
You heard it here.
So back to the tree thing. I just imagine like the first time someone like asks you like, "Hey, can you take care of this tree for me?" You're like, "Yeah, sure," and then you just like fill it with dynamite and blow it up. That's what you. So, have you ever tried to like blow up a tree? Like worlds collide?
No, I never have.
Oh man,
never have tried to blow up a tree.
Maybe we should try. I'm just kidding.
That we wouldn't be the first. They do that in Canada.
Really? Wow.
Yes, they do that. If there's hazard trees up there where them big professional loggers are, they will shoot them down. Yep, sure will.
We try it. Good idea. It's maybe a bad idea.
I think we should have you teach the youth. This is also an awful idea, but teach the youth how to detonate something.
Yeah, there's a lot of regulations in it.
Yeah. I'm sure there are.
We're not good with regulations.
No, we better avoid that one. I can teach them, but we just can't get to the boom part.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is how you do it.
That probably wouldn't be good for me.
Yeah.
They probably don't need to know that.
They can have their own life skills at this moment.
So on a scale, how much more explosives are in what you're using than is like in a firecracker?
Oh, I don't even know there's a scale that can measure that. We'll shoot. Rock quarries not so much, but it wasn't nothing for us to shoot 150, 250,000 pounds of bulk explosive, ammonium nitrate, fuel oil, and
maybe 1 ounce in a firecracker.
Yeah, yeah, and a normal day is 35, 40,000 pounds, and we have shot up to 250,000 pounds at once. So I mean, you're comparing apples and oranges.
Those are pounds of explosive.
Pounds of explosives.
Wow.
Bulk explosive. Yeah.
All right, so we already talked about your crew a little bit, your tree cutting crew. Let's talk about them some more. When did you meet Tasha?
Me and Tasha, we met in high school, but we had known each other most our whole life. She went to a different Social Brethren church, but we was in the same association. So we would see each other at association stuff and stuff. And then her dad accepted the call to be a preacher and come to preach at Spring Valley.
Okay.
And so we ultimately ended up together and went to senior prom together, and then ended up getting married in 2001. And then we went and then had Abby down the road. Had trouble, couldn't have kids of our own. Took us a long time to decide we wanted kids, and then we couldn't have kids of our own. So we went through all the steps and signed up for adoption, and was just absolutely 100% the Lord led the way and opened up every door possible, and really, really, really quick in the process. Got the call that we had been chosen and that Abby was going to be born, approximately when she was going to be born, where. And then we got Abby. They called one day and said she was born at 3 o'clock last night. You need to come get her. And loaded up in the car and off we went.
That's awesome. Would you have any advice to people that like they might be listening to this that are like thinking about adoption?
It was a great process for us. There's a lot to it, and it's nerve-wracking, and it's definitely something you don't want to go into without support. We had some of Tasha's family had adopted, so we had some history there. They could kind of help us through it. Do your research on it. Talk to people that have done it. And it's just so tense because you got to follow all the steps to get in line for it. Then you got to wait. Then you've got to pray and hope that the way we did it, that you get chosen, because the birth mothers in our scenario actually pick who they want to adopt. And we had to do a portfolio, kind of tell about our lives, kind of tell about us, and we got chosen, and it was our doors were open to who we could. We didn't pick boy, girl, or nothing like that. It was just, and it just happened to be a little girl, but yeah, I would say for anybody wanting to do it, just check around and see your options. We went through an adoption agency, the Baptist Children's Home, who we did it through. And there was a lot of help there because they provide social workers and stuff. Kind of puts a separation between you. They help with all the legal stuff. And
yeah, I think you outlined a really good part in that. Like you said, that like praying is important in that step. Like without prayer, it's very hard to get through situations like that.
Yeah, and it was just rough. You go from figuring out that you can't have kids of your own, and you're wanting one so bad, and so we spent a lot of time praying about it, a lot of time figuring out what we was going to try to do, and there's no doubt the way it all played out, as fast as it played out, it was just one of them things that Lord put out there. Is like, yeah, you're going to have a kid, and it's going to be this kid, and there you go.
Yeah, you kind of see his hand working through all of it.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about disaster relief, but did we talk about your involvement in it as much, or?
Not really. It's my thing here. That's my thing. I love it. 100%. I have met so many good people doing this. Not just people we went and served, but people from other states, people from other Baptist conventions, Missouri and Arkansas and Texas, and I've made some really good friends doing this. And yeah, we'll go out, and we do a lot on the local level too. But people think of disaster relief, they think of going out on a big call out, hurricanes and stuff, and that's big for us. It's hard work. It's fun. I hate to see the devastation and destruction, but we know when we do see that, we're going to get a call, and we're going to get a chance to go serve people in their worst time and be the hands and feet of Jesus to help them get their life back on track and get their property cleaned up. And blow down trees and stuff may not seem like a big deal to us, but it's a big deal to them at the time. And some people are worse than others. Some people have lost their homes. There's nothing there. It's just smushed. And some people that just have some trees, it's a super big inconvenience for them, but people from all over the country have flogged in there to help them clean it up. And there's no motive behind it other than just to showing them the love of Christ and doing it. And that's what we want to go do. And we'll do the same thing on a local level. We've been going nonstop for almost 2 years on the local level between the not the hurricanes, but between the tornadoes and the ice storm and just a freak gust of wind, and every now and again just a blue sky event where a church needs some help getting some trees down or something, and we'll round up people and go do it.
What are some of your favorite I guess testimonies of people you've met or like experiences you've had doing disaster relief? Do any stick out?
I have met some really nice people from other states, and I still talk to them every now and again on the phone. And it's always great to run into them people. It's like when you go. We went to Augusta, Georgia last year, hoping I would run into some people that I knew from Missouri, and I did, and got to spend the week with them, and that was great. One of the most interesting events that stuck out in my head is we was in DeRidder, Louisiana, and we went to work at a home, and there was one great big tree down in the backyard, and went up to the door, knocked on the door. And the guy answered it and then cussed us and slammed the door in our face. He was a renter, and the property owner wanted it cleaned up, but this guy rented the trailer, and so he didn't want us there. And the property owner come out and talked to him, and he's like, "Man, you're in over your head here. You can't clean this up." And he's like, "Let him help you." And he's like, "I want to cut this up and sell it for firewood." He didn't have much of anything, and he thought he could make some extra money cutting it up and selling it for firewood. So we told him, was like, "We'll help you with your firewood." Said anything that you want to keep for firewood, we'll set off to the side, but we'll take the other stuff and we'll take it out to the road. And so that's what we started doing. In our chapel, we had a couple chaplains with us that time, and they really worked on him hard. And he would walk away from one of them, and then another one would catch him, and then he'd go away from that one, and I'd talk to him for a little bit or something while I wasn't cutting, and he turned around remarkably in the time we was there. He went from cussing us and slamming the door in our face the first second we was there to bringing out bottles of waters, coming out there helping us, talking to us, and heard a whole lot of Jesus conversations in that couple hours that we was there. And then there was enough of us there that not only did we have time to set his firewood off to the side, we had the guys that start cutting it for him. And so it's not something we normally do. You don't go and cut firewood. But we was there, we had the people, and that's what we needed to do at that time, was sit there and talk to that man that afternoon and cut his tree and cut his firewood. That's what we needed to do, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he accepted our Bible. We always give a Bible out. signed by everybody that was there. Offered to pray with him. He accepted the prayer. He did tell us that he didn't know how to read, though. So he didn't. He said, "I don't know how much I'll read this Bible because I don't know how to read." But his I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend. She chimed in. She said, "Well, I know how to read." I said, "Well, there you go. She can read the Bible to you." Yeah. So I don't, because there's no follow up of that. Mm-hmm. We come back home and we don't know how that all turned out. Prayed for him for a long, long time. I can't not remember his name. I guess I don't need to. If I pray about it, the Lord knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I can just imagine that he probably come to know Jesus, and his wife still reading the Bible to him. That's the best case scenario. So I'm going to roll with that. We're going to believe that's what happened.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're out there doing the work for the Lord, like you said, like that's not what we normally do, but like it's still good work when you're out there being the hands and feet of Jesus to people. Like no matter if it's cutting firewood or just talking to them.
Yeah.
Like it's good work regardless.
Yeah. We drove all the way to DeRidder, Louisiana, and that was the door we got sent to knock on. Mm-hmm. So that's where we were supposed to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. The Lord sent us there for a reason, and it probably was that reason.
Yeah. So we talked about, like, this series is called Meet the Deacons. How long have you been a deacon serving here at FBC?
It's just, I'm fresh. I was in the last batch, man. It's a couple years. Yeah. What's that been, a year and a half, 2 years ago? It's not been very long.
Was it 22 that the last group was added, or was it sooner than that?
Well, don't ask me to put a date on it. But
I think it might have been 2023 because I feel like I was just leaving for college.
I'm just trying to remember because I thought Matt Winkleman said 22. So
he was a little before the rest.
One round before Rickey got it, I think. But like what does being a deacon mean?
Well, it's an office of service. I don't even know if you call it an office, but it's a position of service. And that's what it is. We're all responsible for a group of families, and we'll try to keep up with them and see if they've got anything they need. If there's, and not necessarily just our families, but that's our core group. There's 5 or 6 different families that I'm supposed to keep pretty close tabs on, and I try to do my best. I think they've all got my phone number, and they know if they need anything to holler at me. People at First Baptist are surprisingly self-reliant, though. Sometimes they don't always holler at you if they need something. Mm-hmm. But that's where you got to just try to get closer with them and see if there's anything going on. But no, we try to help them out anytime we can, and it may not even be my family, but if there's any family here that needs something, the deacons holler at each other, "Hey, I need some help here with something," and we'll just all try to get together and serve them to the best of our abilities. It takes a lot of load off the pastors, lets them focus on the word and preaching and stuff, and they know that their deacon group is out there and taking care of all the needs that may arise in the flock.
All right. So this is kind of like our shout out section of the podcast. We kind of just wanted to know, who have you seen doing good work in the church recently, whether that's a ministry, whether that's a specific person that you want to kind of just bring some light to this week. We ultimately want to bring all the light to Jesus, obviously, but we kind of want to just highlight people who are glorifying him in a good way this week.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a disclaimer on this. I don't want to leave anybody out because there's so much stuff that goes on here between the pregnancy center and the small group and the door rushers and greeters and pastors and the deacons. But Joe Jackson, I'm 100% Joe Jackson all the way. Absolutely. I've spent enough time on the road with him and local with him to know that that man is just built for service. And he'll tell you in his own words, you could almost make it a quote, he can't get enough of it. He's addicted to it. There's never been a time that I've seen him deny it. You can call him with any need that you know of, and before you can get the words completely out of your mouth, he's on board. And he'll gather up the oddest ball group of people that he can find to help go do it. Whoever wants in on it, all are welcome, and they'll roll out and do whatever you're asking them to do.
Yeah.
And he's retired, and he has every day to go do it. And what a life.
Yeah.
To be retired in good enough health and to be able to go every day, all day, and serve in some capacity. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think he does a really good job of that, of really leveraging every opportunity he has for Jesus. I think you're right. But at the same time, I'm going to kind of Uno reverse this on you. You are like that as well. Like every time we're out there, whether it's shoveling snow, any service event where we send out like a mass text like, hey, who can help move this person? Ricky is there. So I just wanted to kind of highlight you as well. There's this really like I think whenever you serve, like you give all that you have to the service, like you take it seriously.
Oh yeah.
So I have a little bit of a funny story. Ricky was probably very new to the church, and one time he was on a door at VBS, and me and Isaac Winkleman got back from football practice, and it was raining here, and so we tried to sneak in through door number 1. And Ricky was like, didn't know who we were at that time. He was like, "Sorry guys, you guys got to go around to the main entrance." And I was like, honestly, like I was kind of like, man, I got to walk all the way around the building, but at the same time, he was taking his opportunity to serve seriously. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm glad he remembers that.
That was great.
Jim Pearson put me on the door and said, "Don't let him in if you don't know him." I didn't know hardly anybody. You know,
So me and Isaac were just getting drenched. It was great. It was a great time.
That's good stuff.
You got anything else to add before we get to our draft of the night?
I think we head on into the draft.
Okay.
Right.
So this one's going to be a little bit like less stealing and more just like your favorite. So Mother's Day coming up this weekend.
Oh man.
So this is going to be food, top 3 foods that your mother or your grandmother makes or has made in the past. Since it was my thing, I will start first. Okay.
Go right ahead.
So I'm actually going to do one for my mom, and one for both my grandmas. So my mom, by far, it would be the lemon blossoms that she makes, like these little like muffin lemon type things. They're top notch, and it's like usually like this time of year that she makes them. So maybe after Mother's Day, whenever she can relax,
You might get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some for the podcast next week, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I think my favorite has to be my Grandma Joe's apple dumplings. Apple dumplings, I mean, somehow it's better than an apple pie. And that's a hard thing to do.
Ice cream with it?
I'm not huge on the ice cream with it because I'd rather have 2 apple dumplings than a scoop of ice cream with it.
But Tasha makes a mean apple dumpling, but that's off topic. I'm going to go, I guess, with Mom. She makes a lot of good stuff. And, but she always makes a banana split cake. Banana split cake. And she makes it almost every holiday because she knows we like it so much. And it's not the fanciest or the most gourmet thing, but man, it's good.
Yeah, for sure. Nobody makes it like Mom makes it.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think anybody else even tries. I don't know if we've ever tried. So now do I double back?
Yeah,
Are we snaking?
Okay.
Yeah, you can snake, or we can go all the way around if you want to have more time to think.
Second one is Grandma's. Grandma's chicken and dumpling.
Oh, yes.
And the best part is she taught Tasha how to make them. It's like Tasha has like several grannies worth of dumpling maker built into her, and she cooks dumplings, and they're awesome.
So, what you got?
Oh, man. My mom's mom, my Grandma Sheila, makes a cherry icebox pie. And it's like akin to cherry cheesecake, but like it's not cheesecake. It's basically like Cool Whip and sugar and then like canned cherries on the top. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So I guess I got 2 here. First, I'm going to go with my Grandma Jean. She makes a Texas sheet cake that she just calls cowboy cake. And I'm telling you, you're like, oh, sheet cake. That's not very good. Hers is the best in the entire world, like by far. I don't know what she puts in it, but it's really just like chocolate cake with chocolate icing, and it's good every time. Especially if you put it in the freezer and eat it cold. Man, I eat a pound of that stuff anytime it's anybody's birthday. Mm-hmm. Next up would be my Grandma Janet. She makes any kind of pie. She makes mean pie, but I like her apple pie. She makes it for my dad for his birthday every year. Big fan of her apple pie, and I like it with ice cream.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm last, right?
Yep.
In the middle.
I think he's got one more too, right?
You got one more?
Yeah, I got one more.
Yep.
Go ahead, though.
Okay. Are we only doing sweets?
I did chicken and dumplings.
That's right. I'm trying to. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble because not one thing sticks out from my mom. It's like a few different things. So I'm gonna cheat here. Somehow the breakfast casserole that is at every Christmas. One year she tried to skip out on making it. She was like, "Oh, nobody really likes that," and I was like, That's a highlight of my Christmas morning. Is
Forget
the
Jesus being
breakfast
born.
casserole.
That's the breakfast casserole.
I don't care about the presents. I just want some breakfast casserole.
And she made that for us before your wedding.
Really?
Yeah, and it was good stuff. I
Yeah.
remember it.
That's what I'm saying. And then there have been some other things. Some fried chicken that's been legendary. And this like pesto pasta. Man, that recipe's probably lost, but man, it's good stuff.
Last one, Ricky.
All right. It's got to be, and it's so little and insignificant, you wouldn't think it'd be anything. Mom makes a cheese ball for Christmas, and it's my grandma's recipe, I guess, because Mom still has the recipe. We got the recipe a few years ago, hijacked it, and got it put on one of them cutting boards and like engraved on it. And it's just so simple. It's a cheese ball with pecans on it, and it's just good. And it's simple, it's good, and like you said, one year she didn't make it, and I was like, "What did you made a different one?" Well, that's wrong.
Yeah,
but she makes it all every year now because she knows we want it.
So I'm going to throw out like a little bit of like a challenge. Like if you heard us say something here, if you're a woman in our church listening to this, and you're like, "Oh, my apple pie is actually the best in the world," feel free to make it for us sometime. And
we'll sample it next week.
Yeah,
Ricky won't be here.
If you want to drop it off at the church Thursday next week, we will sample it with our next guest. Whether it's the best cheese ball in the world or whatever. So I put out a challenge to the ladies that might watch the flock.
I'm not sure if you're going to get any bites on this.
I don't think I will either, but maybe we'll have like a table full of desserts and cheese balls and chicken and dumplings next week for a full meal before the podcast.
All right.
And we'll do a rating. We'll do like who's got the best one, if that's the case.
That will get us in so much trouble. So much trouble so quick. I could talk about food for another 30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can get you chicken and dumplings and apple dumplings.
I mean, I'm never going to turn down good food. But Ricky, we really appreciate you doing this with us this week. It's been great talking to you, and I just want to encourage you, keep serving in the way that you are. Keep being the hands and feet of Jesus out there. But really, thank you for being on with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for watching The Flock. Stay tuned next week for a new episode.